Welcome to another episode of Strictly Business Unscripted. I'm your host, Keandra Jones. This podcast educates, ignites inspiration, fosters encouragement, and paves the way for growth among small businesses and the overall Oak Cliff community. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Dallas Zoo, Home Care Network, and ServPro. Thank you for your support. Now, let's get into today's show. Our special guest is a visionary. She is a 5-time Emmy Award winning journalist and a powerhouse voice at the intersection of culture, community, and leadership. She is known for her fearless storytelling and unwavering commitment to equity. Tashara Parker is building a legacy that challenges the norms and amplifies voices too often left unheard. Through her work in media as the founder of Loud Women Lead, both its LLC and nonprofit arms, Tashara is creating space, sparking change, and showing up unapologetically loud in every room she enters. Help me welcome Tashara Parker.
Yeah.
Hello
I feel like
there.
you need to do my introductions all the time. I was like, who that girl?
Oh,
Thank you.
you. What
Thank
an
you.
honor for you to say that,
Absolutely.
you being who you are.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so
My
much
pleasure.
for being here.
My pleasure to
We
be here.
appreciate it. So you and I have something in common. I don't know that I
Okay.
shared this. I'm from East Texas also.
I'm not from East Texas,
No.
but let me tell you, that's okay. And I'm happy that you think I'm from East Texas.
Okay.
Because a lot of folks, when I first moved to Dallas from Tyler, from
Uh-huh.
East Texas,
Uh-huh.
people kept saying, you from East Texas? You from East Texas? I'm like, no, I'm not from East Texas. I'm from Houston, but I was in Tyler. That's okay. I was in Tyler so long that so many people started to think that I was from there. And I was well involved with the community and all of that good stuff. It was like,
Really?
you are a new daughter. So people love me in Tyler and I love them right back. Yeah, I'm originally
Really?
from Houston.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
so my daughter lives in Houston
Yeah.
now. She absolutely loves it.
So we're cousins.
We're
We're
cousins.
East Texas cousins.
East Texas cousins. Yeah. How long were you there in Tyler?
I was there right at a little over 3 years or so
Okay.
in Tyler.
Okay.
But I did so much work while I was in Tyler.
Uh-huh.
Tyler was partially the reason I got recognized, and I'm sure they knew of my work to get me into Dallas when it comes to my job. So yeah, no, I was there for a minute, and I just love the community so much. I always joke and say I'll move back to Tyler in a heartbeat. I love me some East Texas. I love it.
Love it. Love it. So I'm from Jacksonville.
Okay, yeah.
Have you heard of Jacksonville?
Yes.
Okay. Most people are like, where in the world
Yes,
is Jacksonville?
I've heard of Jacksonville. I never forget days where we would have to get in those little station vehicles and drive to Jacksonville, all Longview, all over East Texas, and come back to tell our stories and write them and interview all the folks. You know, we was doing like 7 jobs for one paycheck, but that's another story.
I understand. I get that.
But yes, I know where Jacksonville is.
Okay, I get that. So we're going to get into all your career accomplishments here momentarily, but outside of all of that,
Yeah.
who is Tashara Parker?
Tashara is a friend,
Mhm.
everybody's favorite cousin.
Mhm.
Tashara is somebody who wants to connect people, whether that be within my immediate community or people that I come in contact with. If I find something that you're doing and I can connect you with somebody else, I'm all about that.
Mm.
I'm also someone who's unapologetic. Oftentimes that can be misconstrued.
Mhm.
And by misconstrued, I will say that, if it was a man that was doing some of the same things that I'm doing right now, it wouldn't be looked at that way,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so I'm really unapologetic about who I am, whether it's my Southern charm, whether it's me having a Texas accent, walking into a space, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
That's really just who I am, and I lean into that.
Mhm.
I'm a daughter. My dad is my favorite person in the whole
I
world.
love that.
And I was raised by my grandmother, so she has a special place in my heart. So I just absolutely love my family,
Mhm.
and love when I get to go back home and see them. I have 16 siblings. We're a little Brady Bunch type
Oh,
family.
I love that.
Yeah. And so I just love them to death.
Yeah.
So family is huge for me.
Yeah.
God is the center of everything that I do, always giving him glory.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who Tashara is outside of any of all that old work stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So you've got 5 Emmys.
Yes.
Fi-
It's crazy to say that too. I just be like, girl, like, who are you? Who is this person? I always have like an out of body experience when people say that. So yes, 5 Emmys.
5 Emmys.
Hmm.
Can you talk to us? And
Thank
congratulations
you.
on all, not only that, all of your
Sure.
accomplishments. And we'll dig into some of those here in a
Hmm.
second. But 5 Emmys, can you tell us what those are for?
Yeah.
Tell us about all the things as it relates to
Is it
that.
sad that I done almost forgot what they all for? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I remember the very first one. I
okay.
always want to start with that one because that was the Emmy that I won for a series called Rooted, and it
Okay.
was a deep dive into Black hair discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
Some may or may not know when I was on air for 5 years here in Dallas, I went viral for wearing a hairstyle on the morning news. It was
Mm-hmm.
a natural hairstyle, so you see my afro right now.
Mm-hmm.
However, that hairstyle was, if you can picture it, like a mohawk type hairstyle. It was four
Mm-hmm.
buns going down the middle of my
Mm-hmm.
head. And boy, you would have thought I had to walked in these people's house and cussed them out and said some bad language, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they started writing in and just saying all these negative remarks about
Mm-hmm.
me showing up on morning TV that way.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, my station knows me. I was going to respond to those viewers and let them know what I had to say.
Right.
I didn't do that. Instead, the station allowed me to get on their platform
Mm-hmm.
and talk directly to viewers about my crown, my hair. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, the question I ended up asking the viewers was, why does my crown offend you? Why does it
Mm-hmm.
matter how I show up to
Right.
work with my hair if I am still doing the same job? It is not distracting. It is well kept. It is neat. What's the problem here?
Right.
And so it raised the conversation about professional hair in
Mm-hmm.
the workspace and what that looks like
Mm-hmm.
for women of color, particularly Black women, as it relates to afro hair, braids, locks, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Rooted all came after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I started getting an influx of emails, DMs from supporters, right? The supporters were way louder than the critics, but of course, the critics gonna stick out
Yeah.
just a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can have 50 good comments, you get that one bad
Yeah.
one, you're like, oh, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
So I started getting a lot of support from around the world, not just here in Texas, across the country, around the world, people telling me their stories of what they allege was hair discrimination. From that, I said, you know what? I can't just keep all this to myself. I always tell myself when I get into any position of whatever that may be, that I want to make sure that I leave it better than I found it. And so part of that was doing that series, the Rooted series, which won me my first Emmy, getting back to that. And I just remember interviewing all these women and men about things that they had experienced. And so that led to the first Emmy win that I received, and it was for hair discrimination. And it was a collective of my executive producer, Ashley, my assistant news director, Sheena, and all of these women collectively came together and empowered me to do that series. But it was something that I still had to fight for, right? And let it be known that this was something that was worth telling and discovering and leaning into. So that was the first Emmy. I have another Emmy for my work on air as a traffic anchor, another Emmy for anchoring some work that we did also on the morning news. And I have another one for Miss Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth here in DFW. I know we all know her. And as the grandmother of Juneteenth, we did a full special on outlining her story. And then the other one is for my morning news anchor work as well. Yeah.
So, do you know that the work that you have done has been just so inspiring? I
Thank
went
you.
natural after that
Oh,
because,
wow.
with being in corporate
Sure.
and all of the things,
I
you've
do.
heard it all. Yeah, I know you've heard it all, but we are discouraged
Yeah.
when it comes to wearing our hair, which yours is beautiful all the
Thank you.
time. And I do remember when
Mhm.
that happened, and after it did, I went. We did the big chop and we started over.
I know
So
that's right. Me
I
too.
love it.
I love
I
it.
love it. So
Yes.
I'm now learning for the first time how to care for my black hair.
Yes.
And I don't know the products and all the
Absolutely.
things because we grew up thinking that our hair was not pretty.
And talk about it. You say we grew up that way, and
Hmm.
we did.
Hmm.
I'll never forget. Even as a full grown adult, I went back home with my afro, and my grandmother looked at me and was like, "When you gonna get your hair done?" I'm like, "No, wait a minute, grandma. No, hold on." Now."
Right, right.
But that's how we grew up. But
That's right.
also, they had been conditioned
That's right.
to believe that our hair
That's right.
was not beautiful or was not professional.
That's right.
Right? We had the phrases "good hair" and "bad hair"
That's
and
right.
all of that. And if you had a cousin that had a lot looser curl, they
Yeah.
would say, "Oh, so and so got that good hair."
Yeah.
Versus, say me had a coarse hair
Yeah.
hair texture,
Yeah.
and coarser, I should say. And so we grew up that way,
Yeah.
and it's at no fault of their own because of the times that they were living in, right? It took a
Mhm.
lot of courage to step outside of that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, that 4C hair that
Yeah,
I've got.
come on now.
I'm learning how to deal with all of that, but I'm
Yeah,
loving the journey. I'm
nice.
learning. So
And it
where
is a
did
journey.
it is a journey. I'm
Yeah.
learning it. Where did you get all of this voice from? Where did you get courage to be who you are?
Yeah, man, it came over time. It
Mhm.
came over time. It definitely wasn't something that I always felt comfortable sharing and
Mhm.
showing,
Mhm.
because to your point, whether being in corporate or in many roles that I've carried
Mhm.
over the years, it's always been about, especially with women, you walk in, you be quiet, you get the job done, you don't say too much,
That's right.
right? And you keep it pushing.
Yeah.
And so I can remember distinctively when I first got into journalism.
Mhm.
In 2014 was the year, my first on air job. And I remember walking in there thinking I needed to look like, sound like, act like everybody that
Mhm.
was around me. You're
Mhm.
conditioned by your
That's
circumstances.
right. That's
And
right.
I just remember that. And I was so afraid to just speak out. And I would go home sometimes just crying. And I'll
Mhm.
never forget, I had women that poured into me and they was like, Tashara, just be you. Like, what you doing? Like, I
Mhm.
hired you to do and be you. And
Mhm.
so I started to really lean into that
Mhm.
over time.
Mhm.
And from Bryan College Station, Texas, which is where I had my first job in
Mhm.
in on air TV, I went to Tyler, Texas, and oh boy, I just blossomed and cut a
Mhm.
rug,
Mhm.
as we would say in the South,
Mhm.
in Tyler, Texas. And from there, I just consistently had people pouring into me,
Mhm.
encouraging me to
Mhm.
be who I am.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget, like, the village that was not necessarily my immediate village, but people that just were around me and
Mhm.
saw something in me that I had yet to discover and
Mhm.
to pull out and to show the world. They
Mhm.
kept pouring into me
Mhm.
daily, weekly, monthly.
Mhm.
And even with the whole natural hair on TV thing, I didn't wear my natural hair on TV until I was in Tyler. And I was wearing wigs up
Mhm.
until then,
Mhm.
and my natural straight hair, of course. But I had a news director who is in TV, is the leader of, the news division of your company, so your main boss.
Mhm.
And it was a black woman, and I'll never forget, she told me, she said, we were having dinner, she had her braids, she was going to get braids or something like that, and I was like, oh, must be nice to be able to switch your hair up like that. And she
Mhm.
was like, what do you mean? Like, you can change your hair if you want to. Like,
Mhm.
wear braids if you want to. And I remember I got my first braids on there and I was like, oh, y'all didn't let me loose. And
Yeah.
so I just really just started to really embrace who I am. But just over time, that confidence, it just continued to build and continue to build. And that's
Mhm.
why this loud version of me is the
Mhm.
version I choose to show up as.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. I love that. And I'm so envious because I have conformed in so many ways. I
We
can.
all have. You don't have to be envious. We all have conformed. And I
Mhm.
will tell you that, even being in TV, while I get support from a lot of you guys, from a
Mhm.
lot of people who watch me on TV,
Mhm.
within the industry itself, a
Mhm.
lot of it was frowned upon
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I chose not to conform anymore, because I
Mhm.
was there
Mhm.
conforming and doing all
Mhm.
the things. And one thing I always want to tell people, and especially when, they'll use the word like, I'm just going to use what you just said, right? If you say you're envious, or I look at her and I just love what she's doing, kind of thing. You got to remember too that there are some sacrifices that had to be made.
Mhm.
And sometimes it puts you in a position where you are seen as the problem child.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to be that person,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
that's something I learned along the way, is
Mhm.
that certain opportunities won't be given to you because
Mhm.
you're seen as that person who isn't just going to get in that box and stay in the box,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I always think about that, and I always try to share that part of it, because it looks great when the accolades come, but you don't see the part
Mhm.
that you run into when people see you as like, oh, no, she does too much, or um she may not take, I don't know, just think about all the things that come along with it, because there are
Mhm.
sacrifices that have to be made, and there are opportunities that are going to pass you by
Mhm.
solely
Mhm.
because you're not the most quiet person in
Sure.
the room.
Sure. But do you know that you are changing generations?
Thank you.
You definitely are. Because of your work,
Hmm.
people like me are now telling my daughter, no, you can wear those braids. She's in
Yeah.
corporate America. And
Yeah.
we started
Nice.
out the same way. Don't wear those braids.
Yeah.
And my daughter is a natural girly.
Yes.
Don't wear your hair like that.
Yes.
Straighten your hair, do those things. And because of your voice and your work, we're now changing generations. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm grateful for your work. How did that, you being in media and all of the things, lead you to start Loud Women Lead?
Oh, I'll get to that, but I'm not going to skip over. You just said you have a daughter in corporate and you over here looking like you about 25,
Oh,
30 yourself. So
thank
please,
you.
we're not just going to skip over that part. Okay.
Thank you.
So shout out to the jeans in the family.
Thank
All right.
you. I got a 30-year-old.
Oh, beautiful. I
Thank
just
you.
love it. I love it.
Thank you.
How has my work in media led to the founding of Loud Women Lead? So Loud Women Lead came about with everything that I've told you about the
Mm,
situation with the hair and people reaching out to me and telling me like, we're so proud of you, thank you for doing this. Stories similar to yours, saying now that I'm wearing my natural hair, or I'm trying to embrace it and wear it in corporate, things along those lines. And Loud Women Lead just became this community, a space, so to speak, so that women can collectively come together and see other women leading loud, but also having some self agency over the work that they're doing and not feeling like they have to perform. I call it performance professionalism, right? Like we're performing for whatever role that we're in. And I feel like, for so many years I was performing. And I was like, no, let's switch that up, because you can't keep wearing this facade and thinking you're going to come into this space and be your whole self,
Yeah.
but you're sitting here performing. It's going to eat you from the inside out.
That's right.
Right.
That's
And
right.
so Loud Women Lead was formed because of that. And it's a collective of women coming together to help each other lead loud. One of our biggest events that we throw once a year is our Loud and Clear live storytelling. And that event is something where we train the women for 6 to 8 weeks, and they get on stage and they share their story. I call it TED Talk style, since TED Talks are so popular, right? I call it TED Talk style, but I call it TED Talk with a little seasoning salt. Okay, we got to sprinkle a little Zatarans on there. And so, I love it because not only once they enter that room and step on that stage, the audience always leaves so moved every time we do one of these events. They always leave moved. But I love watching the progression of these women, because everybody doesn't come in like confident, right? Like this is a transitional, so to speak, community. We're transforming lives in what we're doing, and confidence, I should say. And when they come in to the 6 to 8 week program to share their story and to learn how to get on our stage, and some of them come in very well prepared, but some of them, this is very new to them, right? And to see that transformation, it's just incredible. I told them next time, I was like, next time we do this, we're gonna record some of this stuff so y'all can look back and see where you started and where you are now that you're on this stage, because they just blossom and bloom. But why is that? Because they have a collective of women that are also leading loud, that are also trying to gain this extra confidence to do whatever it is that they're doing. And from sharing their stories on that stage, who knows what that could lead to, right? And so that's one of our biggest events. And, now that I'm fully into entrepreneurship after leaving corporate, I'm really leaning on to where that will go. We might have a little tour or something coming soon, so we'll see. But yes, I'm leaning fully into it. If you know people out there that want to do some business strategy, hit me up. But yes, absolutely leaning into that. But that's where the community started from, and hopefully where I see it going.
Okay. Let's step back just a little bit. The term loud, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean loud in volume. What does
Yeah.
that mean
Yeah.
to you?
Look, you did your research. So yes, loud doesn't necessarily mean volume, right? It means stepping into the room and people know you there. You didn't even have to say a word. You came in, you sat down, you spoke to everybody, and you taking your notes off to the side. But people know that you're there. Loud means not shrinking, right? Coming into the room, not necessarily with, you come in with your whole self. Let me be very clear on that. However, loud means that when you get in there, you're not trying to hide all these different aspects of you being in the room. You're not shape shifting. I call it like a chameleonaire. Did I say it right? Chameleon. Did I say that right? Which one of them? You ain't shape shifting, okay? You're not blending in, is what I'm trying to say. And I always tell people that if you feel like you have to blend into any situation, that wasn't a situation you needed to be in. And so, that's what loud mean. Not necessarily volume. It's showing up, owning the room, letting them know that you are there.
What is one piece of behind the scenes, maybe knowledge or wisdom that you got when you were on the air that you take with you into this new endeavor?
Yeah. So I don't even know if she knows that this was advice, but I was interviewing her for, um, I don't know if it was for an article, a video segment, or what have you,
Mhm,
but I was doing an interview with former Dallas Mavericks CEO, St. Marshall.
mhm,
And in that interview, and it's something I've already said to you in this conversation, in that interview, she said, she tells her kids, you don't have to necessarily give all of you at the beginning. You can sprinkle a little bit in here and there
mhm,
over time.
mhm,
Because what's important to know, and I'm paraphrasing, but
mhm,
what's important to know is that everybody can't handle you.
mm.
And if you give them all the goods at the beginning, they're going to automatically put you in a category. Now, I'm adding on my own interpretation
Sure.
of that ending part, but
Mhm,
basically, everybody can't handle you at the beginning, right? So
mhm,
you sprinkle a little
mm,
bit, little bit more over time
mm,
until you bring out that full flavor.
mm. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So Sim
Oh,
Marshall told me that in an interview, the conversation that we were having. I forgot what it was for, but I don't know if she was speaking or getting awarded something, but while I was on there, that was something that she said in our interview. I was like, oh, now I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but I'm going to take that little nugget for myself.
absolutely. And I will take it for
Yeah.
myself if you
Yeah.
don't mind. I love that. I love
Yes.
that. So with all that you're doing and all
Yeah.
that you've done, what are you hoping your legacy will be?
You know, I'm gonna pull off of someone else who I surround myself with a lot of loud women, okay,
Mhm, mhm,
or I consider them loud women.
mhm,
Another individual, I went to her book signing,
mhm,
Fawn Weaver.
mhm,
I went to Fawn Weaver's book signing, and she was asked the same question about
mhm,
legacy.
mhm.
And her feedback was, I really don't care what that legacy is because, in so many words, she's trying to pour it all out while she's here
Oh,
and to
wow.
make sure she's doing all the work while she's here.
Okay.
Now, I do stand by that and I believe that I just want people to know that I gave it my all.
Yeah.
I gave it my
Yeah.
all and I tried my best. I made mistakes along the way. I
Sure.
was unafraid to make those mistakes. I
Mhm.
made those mistakes loudly. I
Yeah.
allow people to watch me make those mistakes.
Yeah.
But I also want you to know that I gave it my all.
Right.
And I really leaned into trying to do the right thing for myself and for the people that are around me.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I want God to get the glory.
Yeah.
So when you talk about legacy, that's legacy to me, giving it my all and
Mm.
doing the best that I can and stop trying to be strong for everybody else when you
Ooh,
can't be strong for yourself. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. I feel like we can go into a whole nother show right there.
Yeah.
Jesus. So how do you balance it all? What do you do? What do
There's
you
no
do?
balance. There's no balance. And you know what's crazy is I thought once because in my mind when I was in corporate, I was like, oh, I just, I have to work these 8 to 12 hours a day. Hence I said 12. Yeah.
Mhm,
I have to work all
mhm,
these hours a day.
mhm.
um if I just didn't have that in the way, I could really focus on
Yeah.
this business and do all these things and be with my family and blah 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 blah, all this stuff. Okay, not true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, there is a certain regard of some of the things that I can do now that I could not do while I was under contract, 100%.
Sure.
However, when it comes to balance, for me, you can't have it all at once,
Yeah.
right? You can
Mhm,
have certain balance in certain areas of your life,
mm,
but I firmly believe you can't have it all at once. You can have it all over time, but maybe not at one time. And
mhm.
so for me personally, when I first got out of TV, one of the things that I wanted to do is spend more time with my family. I missed
Mhm.
so many birthdays,
Yeah.
holidays, baby showers, track meets, all these different things
Mhm.
because I could not get off work
Yeah.
for a plethora of reasons.
Right.
And so I wanted to spend more time with my family. And so that was something that I found balance in. I was able
Mhm.
to go to my younger brother's track meet. He's in high school. I was able to go to
Mhm.
his track
Mhm.
meet on a Wednesday and drove from Dallas to Houston. I was like, this is rich to me. Y'all talk
Yeah.
about being rich and wealthy.
Yeah.
Like, this is rich and
Yeah.
wealthy to me. I
Yeah.
get to go to my little brother's track meet on a
Mhm.
random Wednesday and can go back to Dallas at whatever time I get back
Mhm.
and we're good.
Uh-huh.
Right. And so finding balance in pockets of my life. And part
Mhm.
of that
Mhm.
was showing up for my dad, planning a surprise birthday for my dad.
Mhm.
Again, being at my brother's track meet, being able to run to the store and get Gatorade. Those are things that we take for granted,
Yeah, that's right.
but me not being able to do that for so long because I poured so much into my 10-year journalism career, it meant the world. So I found balance in that. Everything else, baby, we're gonna have to find balance along the way. Because this entrepreneurship ain't no joke. Okay. It is a whole nother ball game. That's something too. Like in corporate, you have so much structure for so long. And so when you venture out into entrepreneurship, there are systems and chambers and all the different things that you can lean into, right? But you need some structure. And so finding that for yourself can also be a balancing act as well.
So this is more of a Keandra Tashara question than anybody else.
I thought this was all Keandra Tashara. But, okay.
Some of this was for them, but this is for me.
Yeah.
So how do you show up fabulously every day? You look beautiful every time I
don't.
see you. Yes, you do.
I do not.
Amazing. You have a great personality. You're giving great energy. How do you do that every time? Because I struggle with that.
I don't feel like I do. And let's keep it all the way 100. Okay. I was on TV 10 years. And so when you are able to be on TV for 10 years, 5 of those years on morning TV, where your brain is conditioned to show up well every day, you have no choice but to show up well. Because you not showing up well means you're not doing your job.
Makes sense.
Okay. So that's part of the answer. The second part is you can wake up and you can ask God, make this a great day where my energy is right, where I'm fed, where I'm pouring into people, where I'm getting the rest that I need, where I'm taking care of myself, but also taking care of others. God, help me to check on some of my friends today, right? And I don't do that every day, but when you wake up with that mindset, it's a mindset shift. When you wake up with that mindset and trying to remind yourself, like, today doesn't have to be a bad day. I don't have to be mad that I got to go into work at 2:00 in the morning every morning. You know what I'm saying? And so you wake up with that mindset, and if you just can think of whatever, I know people, kind of frown or laugh or, joke about affirmations, but whatever that is for you, I don't care what it is or what you want to call it, whatever that is for you, leaning into that. I want to be joyful today. I want to make somebody smile. If when I pick up my coffee, I can look the person in their eye and say, thank you so much, James, whatever that person's name is, right? And they'll look back at you like, what was your name? You know what I mean? Like, just those small connections that matter daily. And it can just be with one person, and that'll make your entire day. Your day is always made when somebody can come up to you and say, you made my day today, or you made me smile today, whatever. Like, your day is made. And not saying that's something you should look to attain, but I've noticed how much more fulfilled I feel just by helping someone else, even with something small. And something small can be a phone call, a text message. If you think once a day, you think about anybody that you haven't talked to in months or weeks, years, right? I'm about to check on them today. And I am the first person to pick up a phone and call you. The first person. I may not email you back. I may take forever to respond to your text message, but I'm going to pick up that phone and call you. And if they answer, they answer. If they don't, I'm going to leave them a long voicemail. So it's stuff like that, right? So, but you can't disregard the background, right? So my brain has been conditioned to do that. In fact, I'm trying to like recondition my brain to not always show up and be so, well put together. Which is why even on social media now, I'm on there without no makeup on. I'm on there talking to you. I'm on there showing you all the behind the scenes of me getting ready, stuff like that. So that, like, look, I'm not trying to glamorize this life because, baby, it's a lot of work being done behind the scenes that y'all don't even get to see. So, yeah.
For a young girl, young Black girl, specifically a brown girl, because growing up the way at least I did, there's a difference. Colorism is a thing. So for someone that's a brown skinned, beautiful little girl that's looking up at all of your many accomplishments, what would you recommend that they do?
Ooh, what would I recommend that a young girl does?
Especially for that girl who has been told to be quiet and to dim their light, and they're naturally loud, but they're told to be quiet. What would you recommend? How can they lean into that?
I'll give you an example, a recent example. I just spoke to a group of about 250 first-generation college students, soon to be first-generation college students. And I shared my story because, again, I always tell people, you see Tashara today, but you ain't know Tashara 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And there was a young girl in the audience, and she waited until after I was done to come up to me and to share her own story.
Mhm.
And a part of what she shared with me is that she grew up without her mom in her life. You
Mhm.
notice that I didn't mention my mom earlier. I
Mhm.
love my dad to death. I love my mom to death, but my grandmother raised me.
Mhm.
And she grew up without, I shared this story there. She grew up without her mom. And she was just saying, well, how did you accomplish all of this
Mhm.
without having that support
Mhm.
of your mom? And I told her, I was like, you're going to have to get people around you. Right.
Mhm.
And let's not forget, there was a lot of therapy that was built into that as well
Mhm.
over the years. Again,
Mhm.
you see me now, but I always tell people, they see the glory, but they don't know your story. Right.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so always lean into the people that are around you that want to see you do well. When you get around somebody and they feel good to be around,
Mhm.
lean into that, because
Mhm.
those are the people that are going to pour into you and pour into your life.
Mhm.
And I told her to remember when someone says something that makes her feel good, but also remember when someone says something that doesn't make her feel good, right? And so for young people, young women in particular, and young dark skinned women, and everyone in between, I
Mhm.
think there's something to be said about getting people around you that are going to
Mhm.
make you feel good about who you are. All the
Mhm.
slick comments, the sly comments, the pretty for a dark girl, the,
Mhm.
oh, I didn't expect you to be so loud, or, oh,
Mhm.
tone it down a bit. You'll
Mhm.
get that throughout your entire life. And I told her it's not going to stop in college. In
Mhm.
fact, that might be where it gets more amplified,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I told her to always just surround herself with good people.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people that are uplifting you,
Yeah.
who make you feel good about being you, who doesn't question your background, who doesn't question your mom not being in your life for all the reasons that there are that she was in that situation.
Mhm.
And when you find those people, as I've said throughout this entire interview, I had a lot of people pouring into me daily, weekly,
Mhm.
monthly, right?
Mhm.
Reminding me like, Tashara, you got it. You
Mhm.
got it. Like, what are you doing? You got it, right? Keep
Mhm.
going.
Mhm.
And so I told her, and I gave her my number. I was like, look, anytime you need to ask a question, feedback,
Mhm.
whatever, remember, I want to be one of those people that you can
Mhm.
surround yourself with that are going
Oh,
to pour into you.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
So that's what I would say to them.
Tashara, you're doing so many wonderful things for our community. And I
Thank
just
you.
want to say thank you. We
Thank
all look up
you.
to you. We admire you. We follow
So
you.
sweet.
We love your journey. We love everything about you.
Thank
And
you.
so thank you, from the bottom of our hearts, that we really, really appreciate you showing up and being loud.
Yeah, thank
Being
you.
loud for
I
us.
appreciate you, and thank you for offering your platform and allowing me
Absolutely.
to share, and for the entire community that will hear this and see this. Thank them for supporting you, because I love to see us doing well,
Thank
okay?
you.
And I love to see you uplifting the culture and uplifting folks
Thank
that
you.
look like you and folks that are trying to really put in the work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If someone is interested in getting in touch with you, booking
Yeah.
you to speak or inspire or all the things, how
Hmm.
can they do that?
Absolutely. So they can go to my website,
Hmm.
and that is just a simple website, TasharaParker.com. I snatched that up from Google them way long time ago. So TasharaParker.com. But I'm also interested in people. I do a lot of speaking and public speaking opportunities for
Hmm.
different corporations. So that's definitely something that's available. But also, Loud Women Lead is something that I'm looking to grow as a business owner. We talking to the chamber, right?
That's right. That's
Looking to grow Loud Women Lead, and
right.
really looking for people who are interested in amplifying or being a part of that as well. And that's loudwomenlead.com for the business side of it,
Hmm.
loudwomenlead.org for our foundation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being with us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. I'm your host, Keandra Jones. And again, thank you for watching another episode of Strictly Business Unscripted. We'll see you next time.